Would you rather have a third nipple or an extra toe?
And an extra toe.
I don't know, for some reason I would have a third nipple, eh? Hey, what up everybody? It's your boy Mellow Downs, and this is another episode of Kava Corner, and today I have a very, very, very special guest, probably the most suave dudes that I know, TEEKS.
Hey.
Welcome, my brother. How are you, man?
I'm good, man.
Yo.
Thanks for having me.
What's
Pleasure.
new? What's new?
What's new? Look, I'm doing a show in November. So I'm just been working towards designing and putting another show together, which is a lot of work and energy that goes into. I mean, you'd know, obviously.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm excited.
Cool. Yeah, we'll get into that. But first, let's try some Kava. You tried Kava before?
Never. I've never actually tried Kava.
Oh, well, it's my honor, brother.
You gotta show me how to.
Nah, we good.
What's the proper?
Cool. There's a few custom ways.
Yeah.
In Fijian culture, they clap before they have Kava. But we always just, cheers it up. Like Samoa, we say manuia. Vanuatu, they say malok. What do they say in Maori again?
Maori ora.
Maori ora. So let's go with that Maori ora.
Maori ora. Okay. It's different, but it's like how I imagined it to taste. Yeah. It's earthy.
It's actually the cousin of the kawa plant. So like, if you were to see the kawa plant and the kava plant, they're quite similar.
Right.
Look, yeah, and they have similar properties, but it's quite peppery.
I like it.
Whereabouts are you from, and what's your iwi and hapu?
So on my dad's side, I come from Hokianga. So my iwi is Ngāpuhi. Hapu is Ngāti Korokoro.
Yeah.
Don't know if you know of a place called small town called Opunoni.
Yeah.
Or Mapere. So I spent a lot of time growing up there. And my mum comes from Tauranga. So
nice.
my iwi there, Ngāti Rangi Nui. And my hapu, Ngāti He.
Dope. Ngāpui hard, brother.
Ngāpui hard. Yo, yeesh.
Can you paint me a bit of a picture of what it was like growing up in the far north of, small town Hokianga, Opunoni?
I think, like now that I'm older, I think I appreciate it a lot. I like look back and think about my upbringing and the type of lifestyle that I had as a kid. It was just chilling, just hanging out. I lived next to the beach, like most of my life, so it was always just being able to just walk to the water, have a swim, come home.
Did you ever meet that dolphin?
Opo the dolphin?
Yeah. Oh, is that old?
No. I think he died. She died long before I was born. But my grandfather, I think my grandfather would have been alive. He was alive. But he would have seen the dolphin.
Yeah. Oh man, I remember one of the first times I went to Opunoni, we got a little dinghy, like my friends had a little dinghy, and we got a dinghy to those sand dunes.
Yeah. And
then I think you can access Miti from the back or something.
Yes.
And I remember I was chilling, and this is the first time I was with someone and I was trying to impress her kind of thing.
Yeah, right.
And then I just hear this vroom, vroom, vroom. And I look up and it's one of my cousins on a quad bike. And he had a joint in his mouth and he was like, "Gaza, Gaz." And I'm just like, fuck, what is up to? And he got stuck, so I had to help him wheel his, quad bike up the sand dune, and that was,
Wait, so you were on a date?
I was not a date, I just had started seeing this chick.
Right.
And she was, all her friends were like, oh, let's go to the sand dunes today. And out of nowhere, my cousin's on the top of this hill, because he lives in Miti, so he's just like, Koza, them forest, this Hati forest guy. Yeah, he's on that vibe. And then they were like, "Who's that guy?" I'm like, "Oh, it's my cousin." But yeah, shout out to cuz.
Shout out.
And let's have a little drink.
Another one.
How you feeling? Is your lips a bit numb in that?
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that on my lips. Nice. But I feel good. So you meant to just drink it in one gulp?
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, one shot. Whew. Dirty. So yeah, being from the far north, are you into hunting, diving, and all the outdoors kind of stuff?
I never went hunting. My dad wasn't a hunter, but he was a fisherman. He still loves fishing, diving, you know. So I did a bit of that growing up. I love like just being in the water, just in general, just whether or not it's just swimming or getting food,
like,
kai moana.
Yeah, talking about kai moana, are you into like kinners?
I love kinners.
What's
any seafood? Yeah.
What would be your favorite?
Probably kinners. Yeah.
Man.
I love kinner on toast with peanut butter. Have you tried?
Yeah,
with peanut butter, that shit.
I remember I had some kinners and I bought them. I went to the bakery after and got those French sticks.
Oh, yeah?
And just cut it, split it right open, and just put all the kinners in. Man, amazing.
Yeah, it's different being in Auckland, because it's like getting fresh kinners is it's a bit tricky to get the punnets.
But you have to get it straight out the
out of the shell.
Yeah.
What about you? What's your favorite seafood?
I would say like, I don't mind me like some raw fish.
I love
like snapper. I like trevally.
Yum.
Powers and cream, standard. I just always feel after fried bread and powers and cream, like I ain't doing nothing like that, you know, like you're just like lethargic just from all the grease and oil, but man, it's worth it.
Feel you.
What does it mean to be Maori in the music industry, and how do you navigate being an Indigenous artist in a very white corporate space?
That's a great question. In a predominantly, white Pākehā spaces, like, I think growing up, in a country that is, in a world that is predominantly, Western, whitewashed, you've had to learn to walk in two worlds anyway. So no matter, what industry you're in, it's always going to be the same thing. But I was very lucky, like, coming up in the music industry, because my kind of first introduction or interaction with the industry was through the Maori music industry, and I had like mentors, like Maisi Rika, Tama Waipara, Rob Ruha, and all these amazing artists who kind of saw something in me and wanted to be there and support me, and that was massive for me, because I used to listen to the music growing up as a kid, and I was like, oh, if they think that I'm good, then like I must be pretty good. So it was like, it gave me something like fucking, and that just kept me going. I think I don't know if how things would have turned out differently if I didn't have that at the beginning.
Nah, it's cool to have like not mentors, but just like people you can kind of look to and be like, man, if these guys are propping me up, then there must be something. And because they're our peoples as well, it's just like such a good feeling, I feel.
And when you see them doing it, just like you see yourself in them, so it's like, it's so reassuring to know that you, like your own people, they're out there doing their thing. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna do it too.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie, G, like I remember I picked up a magazine one time and I'm like, the bros got dripped out on Louis Vuitton. I'm like, man, you get the odd guy, wearing Huffer and stuff, which is cool. But then to see the brother in Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Polo, all these like foreign designer brands, what's that like, bro? Like, what's it like being like, from where you're from, and then next minute you dripped out in designer? Man, this is cool, but I want to be like this. And you're that example, because I know a brother just rocking out designer and shit, it just kind of puts you on a pedestal, but it puts you in a space where people like us don't usually be in, like, if that makes sense. So what's that like, bro?
First of all, thank you, appreciate that so much. That means a lot coming from you. I think your whole aesthetic and your style was like on point, and it's inspiring. So thank you. I'm just a fan of fashion and clothing, so I love to just look good.
Of course.
And I love to feel good, because it's all part of the being an artist is it's not just it's the whole thing. I think feeling good is so important, because you step on stage, you just do. I feel like if I step on stage and I'm wearing like a mean fit, I'll perform way better.
Something about the glow just kind of embraces and emphasizes on on the what is it, the not the ahi, but like the mana that you have.
Exactly.
Even if it is from, you know, France or Italy, it's still, bro, it's just like, that's mad.
Good.
Let's have a drink, brother. There's this photo of you and you're wearing a hoodie, and it's like a it's like a orange and black kind of shirt, but it's like a curtain fabric. Bro, I got the same one.
Oh, you got the same one?
The orange and black kind of vibe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Where'd you get?
I got it from Save Mart.
Bro, same. Does yours have a design on it?
Yeah.
Mine's got the Statue of Liberty on it.
Is it with the face?
Yeah, something like. Oh, mine's got like this. Yeah, she's like holding the.
Oh, okay, mine's not Statue of Liberty. Mine's like a face. It's kind of reminded me of like some Versace or something. But I cut the bottom to like crop it.
Cheers, Azul, my man. Ooh, how you feeling?
Yeah, I feel good.
Was music a big part of your family upbringing? And tell us how music shaped your childhood and upbringing.
I don't know if I would say like a big part of my upbringing. My dad was definitely the music guy in my family, and you know, when I was growing up, he would always have his guitar with him, and he'd be singing songs or writing songs. So he was a school principal, and he's been working in education like since I was born.
Wow.
So he would write songs for his schools, you know, for kapaka and stuff like that. In terms of the music that I listened to, it was very much what my parents were listening to, what my dad was listening to, and that's like, you know, he's a big Elvis fan.
True.
Bob Marley was just like blasting through the house every day, all day. He used to like crank it up like early in the morning and wake us up, you know. So I had a little love-hate relationship with Bob Marley, but now I'm at an age where like, oh man, okay, I appreciate that. And yeah, Stevie Wonder, you know, Aretha, all the greats.
Because when you started, obviously you came from more of a Maori background, like having like Macy, Rabaruha, and all those kind of figures in your corner. How did you find your sound? Like, I remember when that dropped, I was just like, bro, this is some old soul kind of shit, you know? Like, even my mom's was a fan of that. So, like, I was just like, damn, that's crazy. Like, how
a lot of people's moms are fans of my music.
How did you discover your sound? Were you doing experimenting, or like, were you like dabbling with R&B or soul?
You know, I started that in school when I was in a band with my friends. You know, the first genre I kind of messed around with was reggae, because that's what everyone was listening to, and you know, being from up north, it's like that was standard. I kind of grew a bit, got matured a little bit, and then moved down to Auckland, and then started studying music, and then I kind of stumbled on the likes of D'Angelo and Maxwell, and you know, like neo soul. So I was like, I had never really, like, I probably heard it when I was younger, but I had never really had the time to dive deep into it. And so that kind of like flicked something on inside of me, and like I was like, whoa, I was obsessed there, and I was so inspired, and I knew like soul music was like the thing for me, because it made me feel something inside, you know, and I was like, oh man, I want to do that. Like I want to make soul music.
That feeling that you have inside, people that listen to the music feel that inside too, but like on a Super Saiyan kind of level, you know? Like, how does that feel to, like, you must get like crazy messages from like people that listen to your music, but like, I was going through this, I was going through that. Like, how does that feel to not even like have that intention, but like people resonate with that? You know?
Man, that's I always feel so grateful, because it's like you said, it's like you don't really go into, when you're writing, you don't have the intention of like affecting all these people. Making music is, for the most part, it's like it's self-serving. For me personally, anyway, I feel like I do it for myself, and then the payoff, you know, is like you find out how much it impacts other people, and then it's like, and then it kind of energizes you again, and so it's like this cycle, and you're like, man, whenever people send me messages and like telling me how much a song has been part of their lives or has impacted them in this way, I'm like, okay, like, you know, you need that reminder sometimes, because I forget. I forget, and I'm like,
for sure.
You need some different type of purpose or drive other than yourself.
It's kind of like do you know the infinite symbol? Like I look at it kind of like that. It's like we put all our heart and our mana and our energy into the music, and even when we're performing, we're, you know, like extending it out into the crowd, and they're like got their energy, their mana, they grab ours, and then they push it back to you. So it's kind of like this thing, like
exactly. That's what is it called? Symbiotic. Like that's the beauty of art, is it's like it benefits not only, you know, the creator, but also the listener. And it's like, it's beautiful.
As I've gotten older and more mature, I was like, man, this is kind of like a purpose, I feel, you know? Like even if you look back at our tupuna, like we had Kavas, we had singers and warriors and all these people, and because we're living in this kind of Western landscape, I feel like this is like, for example, like I used to graffiti, I used to tag. When I went to Kaikoi for the first time, I figured that all my grandfather, his cousins, they all Kavas. But because I didn't have the tools, I'm like out here, you know, spray painting walls. But if I was, you know, to grow up in a traditional kind of sense, I could have been a Kava kind of thing. So I see it like that kind of thing, and that's kind of what I see with the music that I make.
Yeah, got you. Now you're carving with words.
Now I'm carving with words, painting pictures with words and whatnot. It's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah, it is.
What was the first album you remember buying?
The first album I remember buying, this is gonna make me sound like not even...
Don't worry, bro.
Not even, like it's gonna make me sound not even old. And I'm not that old, but you know. From what I can remember, the first album I bought with my own money was when I was in school, and I was on a road trip with my friends, and we came to Auckland, and Adele had just released her 21 album.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I bought it because I hadn't really listened to her music before that, but I was just like, I don't know, I was intrigued, so I got that, and we listened to the album all the way back to the Far North Day, like, and that wasn't, you know, for the type of music that me and my friends listened to. That wasn't like,
it was quite like left field.
It wasn't. I'm not a sad person, but I love sad songs.
There's something about I don't know, like them, just like the presence, even when they perform, like even when you perform, I've seen Adele perform, there's something similar, like a similar essence that kind of captivates the audience, you know? And it's, that's dope,
and people, I don't know. I think there's a healing in sadness, you know, in a weird way.
There is.
When it's kind of like opening wounds. It's like, I don't know. I love it.
That's cool because like my genre, you know, you have to like run out and be like, everybody put your fucking hands in the air, you know, like, and like it's cool, but you want to connect like in that way, where people can just sit there and just have a cry on their, I don't know, their partner, like share that experience, and that's cool. Yeah,
we got our own different ways of connecting with people, right? Like there's different spectrums of emotion that we tap into. I could never do what you do, like I wish, you know, I have like low-key like dreams. I wish I could rap, but I can't.
Saying that, but let's have another drink. Sharp, brother. Kind of get used to it after.
Yeah, you do. Hey, the taste is like, you can't even taste it anymore.
So yeah, how did you get into music, and how did you find your sound?
To be honest, I was the shyest kid when I was young, so I never really sung like in public or like openly. Even around my family, I was like, I wouldn't really sing, but like doing kabaka and having that type of, I don't know, something that forces you to like open up, you know. I knew that I loved singing, and I loved the way it made me feel. Since high school, I was kind of just made the decision. I was like, I want to pursue music, and then, you know, that's when we started a band in school. Did those competitions, and then I was like, hey, what's next? You know, I finished school, and I came to Auckland and decided to study music because I didn't really know where to go, you know, how to begin the journey.
And how did you transition from like high school to like, obviously you have this vision, you have this dream of like, I want to do music, but you know, like when you start out, it doesn't pay the bills automatically. So like, how did you transition to like being a full-time artist?
When I think back, it's like, I'm proud of myself for not giving up, you know,
yeah.
because it wasn't always easy. It's like,
Right, trust me, I relate, but
I mean, there were times it's like, I was like, oh, fuck, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I had no money, I had no job. I was like, I didn't really have a place to live at one point. I was like in Auckland, because I knew I had to be in Auckland. So I was kind of like couch surfing.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you kind of have this like anxiety of like not, I don't know.
What, did your friends believe in you? Or were they like kind of like, because like for me, I like, they supported me to an extent until it was like, bro, you've been doing this for a minute now, bro, and you know, you're still playing at pubs and getting 2 free beers, like.
I love my parents, and they have always been, you know, supportive of whatever I'm gonna do. They're like, go do it, like as long as you love it, you know. So I'm grateful that I had that upbringing from my parents, but they would also like come back sometimes and be like, hey, because they both work in education. Hey, are you sure you don't want to be a teacher? Like, you can get education grant, like, you know, a teacher's whatever scholarship.
You were teaching for a bit?
Accidentally, yeah. So I was studying at Unitec and then ended up teaching the Te Reo Maori course at the Marae, because they had kurapo, which is like 3 nights a week.
Yeah.
And it was a part-time. I'm grateful I had that, because the money I needed.
We all gotta start somewhere. Yeah, I used to work in this factory, this random factory, like just like doing like pick and packing and stuff, driving a forklift and whatnot. And I was like, man, what am I doing here, bro? And like my supervisor used to like, we'd be in a room with all the other supervisors, and I would be like, oh, how's your little rap thing? You know, it was just kind of like gaslight me a little bit. But now,
now look at you.
Nah, jokes. If you could collab with any musician, dead or alive, who would it be?
Frank Ocean.
Oh, fuck, that would be crazy.
Yeah.
Have you had any like? Because I remember like RZA hit you up, right?
No,
sorry. He didn't he like play your song?
He retweeted my song, my video.
Wow.
But like, yeah.
That's crazy.
I wish, yeah.
But have you had any kind of like, I don't want to say celebrities, but other kind of big artists hit you up like, man, you're amazing, or share your music in that? It's
I
like,
mean,
there's so many good stuff. Another one. You got much planned after this?
No, what's the time? I usually go train on Mondays, 4 o'clock, but I told my trainer, I was like, oh, I'm not coming in today. I'm doing Kava corner.
Yeah, this is actually good for like muscle recovery after training.
So after the training would be good, right?
Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
So who are some of your favorite emerging Maori acts?
Go by the name of Hina, who's dope. Her real name's Amy, but her artist name is Hina. She's a beautiful songwriter. She was part of the Po program too a couple years ago. I think she's gonna be on one of the 660 lineups for 660 Saturdays. So
that's big.
Exciting times for her.
Yeah. What's the most rewarding thing a fan has ever said or done for you?
Rewarding.
I was gonna say to you, but yeah, the most rewarding thing a fan has ever said or done for you.
Well, recently when I did my show in Wellington, I did a show with the New Zealand Symphony Orchestra. Like 3 nights, it was like beautiful. Had a great time, but there was one woman there who came all 3 nights, and not only that, she came all the way from LA specifically for the show. She flew over. She like brought me like gifts as well with all these like things in the basket. So when I found out, I was like, oh, I need to meet this lady. So yeah, I made that a priority, and I wanted to say thank you for, you know, just doing what she's like. That's a big thing.
Man, that's so beautiful. Like honestly, like to travel on the other side of the world. So
yeah, that's crazy. I was like, you're crazy. What are you doing?
At the same time, it's cool she got to watch it 3 times, you know? Like, she really got her money's worth and got to meet you and whatnot.
Yeah, she's like, I don't know if I'm going to have a job when I go back. I was like, oh.
Oh, man, you're on the road. You want to be a roadie? No. Cheers, brother. Yeah, so this is kind of what Kava's about. Just like, we call it talanoa, which is just kind of gathering and just, you know, chopping it up and talking. It's quite chill, quite mellow, no pun intended. But so yeah, what's your favorite show that you ever played to date, and what would be your dream venue to play at?
Probably the Civic I did last year.
Yeah.
Back in June. That was because I've always wanted to play the Civic, and that was a moment for me, you know, because it's beautiful in there, and you can feel like the history in it, you know, and the crowd, the energy in the room was like, it was exciting and electric, you know. At Royal Albert Hall in London.
Oh.
I was when I was in London, I was running past that, and I was like, one day I'm gonna play in this building.
That's a vibe, bro. I see you're playing Spark Arena. Like how, bro, that's like, to me, that's like the highest thing you could do as an artist, coming from where we're from, you know what I mean? That must be crazy for you. Like, what's that like?
That's pretty wild, eh? I always like, even now I'm like, it's like hard to make sense of it, you know, because like I spoke about before, I was like, the Civic was like I'm gonna do the Civic, and then like that's my.
It's funny because it's like, oh, I've done that. What next?
Yeah,
and like,
exactly. So the next conversation with the team was like, okay, what's next? Like we have to, you know, do something bigger and better, and the only place to do that is Spark Arena. So we decided to do that, and I'm excited because it's like the amount of like creative. Like energy I'm able to like put into the show because of how big it is.
Because you can bring all the big guns in.
The scale, then it's like, it's exciting. That's exciting.
Yeah. So Spark Arena, man. Congratulations,
thanks,
brother.
Man.
You pretty much
on
clocked
Power
it.
Station too,
Oh,
bro.
thanks, bro.
Big that's big milestones.
We out here clocking in milestones. But like, what's after Power Station? What's after Spark Arena for you, like? Okay, team. We just sold out Spark Arena. Where to next? That's when you're gonna start doing like Western Spring.
The 668. Nah, I don't know if well, that's the thing about my music. It's like my demographic is very broad, and like I have I have generations of like listenership, which is amazing to me. You know, it's beautiful. I look out to the crowd and I see young people, and then I see their parents, and I see their grandparents, and it's like they all listen to my music. But at the same time, that's almost, I don't know, New Zealand as a New Zealand. I think we're very much like punters, you know. People like to go to a concert and they like to drink and they like to like.
I was just gonna say that,
summer
like,
shows.
I'm not gonna like, if I'm being completely honest, I'm not gonna like, when I'm off to a party, I'm not gonna be like, gee, let's chuck on some TEEKS, you know what I mean? But when I saw Spark Arena, I'm like, fuck, I gotta go, you know what I mean? So it's like...
Exactly, that's what I mean. And it's like, it's a different type of experience. I think my music is, I just have to be strategic, you know, and creative about how I present it.
Just seeing you're not, you know, like, what's your career over the last couple years and stuff, and just seeing like how far you've come in that, man, it's cool being watching your journey in that.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Thank
you. That, brother. All right, we're getting there, man. Shit. Sweet, brother. Yeah, what's the most valuable advice or lesson that stuck with you throughout your career?
It's kind of twofold. I think one of them is get out of your own way. Like, that's something that I heard and something that really resonated with me, because I think you know, we're like our biggest obstacles, you know, is like ourselves, our minds. It's everything that's going on internally. Falling in love with the process and not the result, you know. I think that's really important, and something and I'm guilty of, you know, because you know, it's hard with this like day and age too. It's like you want that gratification, and that, especially with social media, it plays such a big part in terms of our the way we like think and our complex and everything. So
could just imagine if we're in the like 60s and you have a show at Spark Arena, it wouldn't be like, oh, I've got to do this promo, I got to do this post, I got to do these stories with the link and all that kind of shit. It will be like
it's just like maybe a poster, and then hopefully people show up.
It's time for that Kava buzz.
Oh,
Magic. Magic. So would you rather stub your toe or get a paper cut?
Get a paper cut.
Would you rather be covered in fur or covered in scales?
Like forever.
Forever.
Like, what do you mean?
Like forever.
Fur? Scales? Fuck, that's a hard one. Sorry.
Yeah, that would feel weird, eh? Like fur is all good because you know.
Yeah.
Choi Kingi or Rabaruha? They're watching this by the way too.
Choi Ruha.
Bruh, I don't know how you got yourself out of that one, but it worked. Kinners or power?
Goodness.
Yeah. Would you rather have a third nipple or an extra toe?
And an extra toe.
I don't know, for some reason I'd have a third nipple, eh? Would you be able to speak any language or be able to communicate with animals?
Communicate with animals.
Would you rather play a free show for the kids at your old high school or play a festival for $500,000? By the way, those kids are watching this too.
Play a festival for $500,000.
And then you could go back to the high school and donate some of that money.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. See?
You smart, brother. Would you rather detect every lie you hear or get away with every lie you tell?
Detect every lie that I hear.
Yeah. And yeah, done. What's up, brother? And before we wrap this up, brother, is there anything you want to tell the people out there? Put anything out, whatever you got coming up. You got your show at Spark Arena. Want to, just tell the people.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to come to my show, it's in November the 12th at Spark Arena. You can get tickets from my website.
Yo, my brother Keats, my brother TEEKS. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me on the Kava Corner, man. And it's cool to catch up with you again. Like I see you out in every now and then, but it's cool to just chop it up. And
yeah, for sure.
It's always been a pleasure, connecting with you and that. And I wish you all the best for Spark Arena and for whatever the universe has for you.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate that so much. Thanks for having me.
Bless, brother.
Pleasure.
That's us.